These are two motifs that we used to put on the old guns, sometimes in sort of concave areas, or you can have them on convex areas. It's just a little motif. I will show you how it's done. But you can see it's got a scroll on each end here. You can do the semi-oval and then split it down the center like so. You can do the square across there and do like I showed you how to do a scroll. You square it off here so you can get the actual shading, the different sizes, you know, the measurements from that technique I've shown you. So now this is another shell effect, you see. So this one is almost like an acanthus, you like to call it. Some people like to call it acanthus, just for the sake of it. It's a leaf inside here. So I've drawn it very faintly first, so it saves time. So now we make the Eiffel Tower. Oh, it's great. Here, like so, you see. So that comes down the center, which gives that a nice effect. It's on the curves again. So all these nice little curves, they're the ones that make interest. You can do it like so here if you wanted to. You can either leave that and shade it like that, or you can just do a little area, a little thing like this, you know, these little cuts I show you about, and put them in like that. That makes like a leaf effect, and you put another one in here like that. So now you have a little effect in here. You could just shade it down here. Do that. Now we're going to do the movements, which are these curves again, my little hooks. You see my little fish hooks? Do that. And then here you just do, like, form a little leaf here, around here, cut in that corner there, you do another one here, cut this away here, like so, put another one in here, another one there, cut over there again, like that. So now you've got a gap here, so you make a little cut in here, you take another one here. Then because you've got this is the ladder again, you get the same spacing, and you form this again, you see. So you get another one here, the little fish hook, again, another little hook there, and that way, there. So you've cut this away here, your little chevron backgrounds. These can be large or small. But this is Victorian, pre-Victorian, really. You know, it's just one of those shapes that were adapted for the flintlock guns, and then we brought them into all types of period type of things. Just where you've got a space that you like to fill, and we go up here again. We're going up the ladder. Fish hook again, like so. We're doing again. So we're more or less copying in mirror fashion on what this side is. Maybe I haven't got it exactly the same, but you may find some that were slightly different. But I'm just doing a demonstration. It's how precise you want to be and how you want to correct, and you gradually may form your own little idea, but it's just showing you what happens here. I'm doing it quite fast. It's not an exact drawing because it's a demonstration, and as I say, before, these guys were artisan craftsmen, and they worked to a certain price or things, and they filled it. Some of them were slightly off, you know, they weren't always exact, but the eye couldn't always discern that, you see, because it was still well done. And maybe there were so precise with the measurements across here, like I am, you see. So this is the difference between the mechanical, should we say, these procreates or whatever they are that correct it and make it absolutely right. It looks nice, yes, but it becomes sometimes become mechanical, because here you can see the craftsman's temperament in some respects on here. So you can make a little flute in here if you wanted to, and that's the shading on this one, like so. You see, so you shade it in like so, and you bring it down here, and we do something very similar on a tang of a guard, trigger guards here. So it's like a leaf that forms like so, you see. So we will shade this down here, whichever way you wanted to do it here. When you gradually get more proficient, which will take a few years sometimes, but you know, it's according to how keen you are and how you want to progress in engraving, and keep more than one string to your bow. Try to look and see some of the old buildings, not the ones that have been erected recently, you know, the austere ones, but some of the old Victorian buildings have some beautiful things in the brickwork, you know, some ornamentation. I've been in some of the American cities too, and they're wonderful, some of the old stuff that they have on the buildings, as well as in England. So in certain periods they were into all this ornamentation, so it's around if you can observe it. And so maybe put a little shading across here just to make it look like a little bit of a scroll. We do that here. So now we have another one, which is this one here. I've actually drawn a little bit because you can see it's like a shell. This is similar to this one again, maybe a bit wider, fatter, more of a shell. And I've more or less marked this out to save time again. It's another little scroll area to give it a start here with a little leaf on this way here. And we can make it as ornate as you like. It's a period type of thing, but look at it again and observe it. And it's almost like the ancient Greeks, the 3,000 years ago. It's very similar to the honeysuckle. So now we have a knob. So at the beginning, I would just make this here as the centerpiece to work from. Then I would have drawn these like this. So what you can do is take your measurements here, 1, 2, go round there, keep your right measurements there, and then start here and aim for this. So you would go up here and you would aim for that spot there, putting a slight curve on it, like so, you see. And so you come on this spot here and you would have rounded this end here, so give it there, and then you would bring it back in here. So you may have the same narrow width all down here, the same size, you see. So you start there, and then you go again from there to the aim for this area with a slight curve, which is the same as this side, but because you can see I haven't made it exact. Silly Billy. There we go. But this is a demonstration, and I could do this thing. I suppose I should emphasize, really, that we shouldn't be slack. Try your best, and I shouldn't accept what I've done there in a way when I'm doing a demonstration to allow me to not get it correct. But you may not notice it, and the majority of people do not notice it. See, that's much wider than this side, so really I have got the ability here to correct it. I've got my magic thing here just So I could take this back here and bring that down here now, you see, because it's pencil, and I can correct my mistake or overlook the things. So you might get it out correct if you're going to engrave it, because it's difficult then to correct pencil. You can erase. Okay, so now you can see what it's like. So now I'm going to put a little knob on the end here and on there, and what I've done then is I've taken another cut up here. Now if it's large, you've got to more or less cut around and then cut that way, you see, to there. But I've made a little knob on here, and I've cut this away here, so I've left myself a little leaf here, you see, because it's got the background there, and I've done the same here. I've left a little area there, and I've either got a little knob like that, or I can make it into a feather. So I'll do that. I'll make it into a feather. You can go all around like this, but I could do it into this thing, you see. I'll make it in like that. It's like a little feather, you see. I could put this area in like that and do that. So you can change this into whichever shape you like here, you see. So I could still bring this around because it's coming around here like that, and change these. See how you can adapt it because it's working in that way. So now I could bring this around here, you see. So now I have this here. I'm doing a cut. This is the beauty of having these cuts that go from thin to thick. They correct themselves. They make their own shapes, you see. If it's just one cut without any sort of thin to thick, and it gives you the actual shape or shadows, if I just do a line like that, it doesn't mean very much. It doesn't show much, even though I've just can't help putting that extra little pressure on there. That's me, you see, and that's the way it should be. And it's like you've got a pen nib that expands as you put more pressure on it. The same as with your graver. As you put the graver in, it goes slightly deeper, or you twist it, your hand automatically does a twist. And I'll bring this down to go on this area here like this, just on this one to balance that up, to show, you see. And so we have that, and then I would take this one up here. It has you just have to give somebody a little spark, you know, a scintilla of something to spark off your imagination, and you can do all this type of thing. So there's more cutting away on this, and I'll do it here on the other side to balance this one up, but that was just showing you how you can feather this here. So now I would go down here again, here like so, in with this area, so it's going to make a fan effect. So you're fanning it around, and you're doing this again, right? And it's according to how adept you are at drawing or engraving, that you can form these interesting. I look at some of this old work now, it comes up now and again, something I haven't seen myself, and I go, wow. When you're young sometimes, well, I was, because didn't see a lot of these works, you know. You didn't see a lot of the antique guns and things like that. Now we've got this medium, people put some of these old guns, these collectors, or they go back to the gun makers and they put them on, and I go, wow, that engraving. I know who did that, on some of them. You can't be conceited and say you know it all. And you know, you ignored it a little bit when you were young because you were going after something else, and then you're starting to discover these little things. These, wow, they're good. Now that I'm more or less cognizant of there's a lot of young engravers needing to know something, I'm starting myself to analyse some of the older works and say, yeah, we can resurrect some of these old patterns and things like that. They can be quite simple to do once you know the technique, and they you know, see, like that, it's all you need to do in a way. They're just a certain cut that you can put in like that, and you can put another one over like that, and you put another one like that, and just put a little dig in. See, you've got these shapes here. And maybe there's no need to shade this down. It's according to the size and how depth you are. You can put something in here. I can make this more florid. I can make this a little bit deeper, you see, and a bit more that, which you would have found on some of the old guns. They would have done something like this, you see, and you would maybe put some shading around here, and that you can make it more complex, but I won't, because I'm saying I'm maybe advising novices, and maybe that's what you're. Oh, I'm afraid I was putting that over there. So you can bring this around more. You can. Don't ignore these things, and don't you say there's only one way to do it. It's when you become more proficient, you can start to change things. You can change. There's nothing written that you can't change or adapt it. Okay, shall I sign my name? Yes, here I go. Yeah. Good night, boys and girls. See you later.